Brought to you by...
Do you remember the other day when I said that I fucking love Christmas slasher films? That there was something about a killer Santa Claus that just ignited my curiosity? Well, this Christmas is about to blow the fucking doors off with a violent Yuletide rampage that will have you clamoring for more. Merry Christmas, my fucking friends, and welcome back to ETF for another Christmas horror review. This time, it's Christmas Eve, and fiery record store owner Tori Toombs just wants to get drunk and party, until the robotic Santa Claus at a nearby toy store goes haywire, and makes her night more than a little complicated. Santa embarks on a rampage killing spree through the neon-drenched snowscape, ultimately forcing Tori into a blood-spattered battle for survival. This Shudder original is the next in a string of brutal little horror gems from director Joe Begos and his company Channel 83, opening us with a string of hilarious little fake TV ads that build us to an ad for our Robo-Santa. We are introduced to our protagonist Tori on a snowy winter night as she heads into work. As we enter this dingy-ass record store, Begos' neon aesthetic slaps you in the fucking face harder than your dominatrix ever could. This opening scene alone is packed with so many fucking homages that it's hard to name them all. Just a few that I noticed were the quote, "Help me, I'm in hell," smeared on the wall in neon paint from Hellbound Hellraiser 2, along with Lemmy is God and a New York Ninja Blu-ray on the shelf. The opening titles are something straight out of an underground shot-on-video horror film. We quickly get the idea of who Tori is as a person. Cut off from attachments, damaged to some degree. Having known Begos personally, the more I heard Tori speak, the more she became clear to be a carbon female copy of Begos himself, complete with Rhode Island lineage, clothing choices, and movie and music inclinations. This one and its characters definitely steer hard into that grunge punk rock aesthetic, with entire streams of dialogue that give Rob Zombie a run for his money. As our characters begin to move along the town streets, I began to get immediate Back to the Future, Gremlins, Universal Backlot vibes, which I personally fucking loved. It's honestly rare nowadays that you see that weird, quiet, snowy mountain town aesthetic that all those films used to have. Throughout the film, we are treated with a host of small, almost cameo performances, such as Mark Green reprising his cameo from The Mind's Eye here as on-camera news reporter Barry Norman. Josh Ethier makes his expected cameo alongside Rob Zombie regular Jeff Daniel Phillips as the town bartender and the sheriff. Graham Skipper of Almost Human, Mind's Eye, Beyond the Gates, and more also makes an appearance as Tori's sister/roommate's boyfriend. And Jeremy Gardner shows up as one of the small-town cops. Begos himself even makes a cameo as Tori's Grizzly Adams-looking neighbor with the ranchero, who gets his head split open in brutal fucking fashion. I absolutely love that there is no rhyme or reason as to why the store Santa comes to life in this one. It just suddenly happens, leading to a savage axe murder of a guy while he is fucking his girlfriend in the ass in the middle of a toy store. We do get some subtle information dropped in passing dialogue about how the robot Santas were all recalled, which for me was all I needed for an explanation. Nothing overly complicated or convoluted. The visual style of this new Begos project is no different than the rest of his catalog, displaying a mix of dynamic handheld camera work and high-contrast neon lighting. As usual, Bigos brings his flair for mashing violent brutality and heightened sexual tension together in a sequence of Santa brutally murdering Tori's landlord in a geyser of blood just as she climaxes with fury. All of it is brought together by an incredibly powerful and haunting synth-driven score by Steve Moore. In an interview, Bigos stated that he always wanted to make a killer Santa film and a killer robot film, so he just made them one and the same. I do have to admit that I love the visual of what is clearly an actor portraying a robot Santa, which brings back some memories of Terminator, Rotor, and even a little bit of RoboCop. The practical effects throughout this one are brought to the forefront of this experience, becoming the star of the show for me the moment I got the chance to watch Robo Santa jam a fucking axe into the head of the little boy next door. Much like Bigos' other films, there isn't much emphasis on building out the characters or developing them in meaningful ways. As always, Bigos aims to craft a brutal and utterly badass experience that will leave an audience thrilled in the cinema. And in my opinion, his aim is true. Sometimes you just need a straightforward horror film that doesn't aim to be overly in-depth and full of itself with meaning. This one might actually be one of my favorites that he has done so far. With this narrative, he trims out all the fucking fat and gets straight to the point, delivering a clean and clear action horror experience that is brutal as fuck, explosively entertaining, and in my opinion, absolutely rewatchable for future Christmases here on out. I'm giving Christmas Bloody Christmas an A. Bigos is firing on all cylinders here to bring you a highly entertaining experience that delivers in action, gore, and wildly fun performances, and goes full-blown fucking Terminator in the last 30 minutes. I definitely recommend this to those who love punk rock and Christmas horror. You will not want to miss out on this one. As always, friends, I hope you enjoyed this video. Hopefully next year I can make much more of an event out of the holiday season. If you like this video, stay tuned. I'm planning on coming back in 2023 with a vengeance. If the seasonal spirit has you feeling charitable, please consider supporting ETF on Patreon so that we can get back to making you new content without having to worry about keeping the lights on. Until 2023, thanks for watching, and have a Merry Christmas.